Do you remember the game? That moment when your blood pressure started to skyrocket. You were certain that call was going to be reversed because it was so obvious that the refs made a horrible call on the field. Well, today on Red Zone Mania, we are going to count down the most controversial finishes in NFL history that made us question if the result of the game was predetermined. These games involved controversial officiating, strange outcomes, or highly unusual circumstances, which led many football fans to break out their tinfoil hats and spout conspiracy theories or accusations that the league is fixing games to benefit a popular team or MVP players like Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady. Not to mention, giving social media content creators a ton of content to use to entertain their followers. So strap in, because today we take a look at the top 10 controversial finishes in NFL history. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on your notification bell to get more of our football highlights and videos. Let's get started with number 10. We kick off our top 10 list with a botched call made by replacement referees during the beginning of the 2012 NFL season. The original full-time refs were on strike due to labor disputes, and this game was filled with mistakes from the replacement refs. Forever known as the Fail Mary game, occurred in Week 3 during Monday Night Football between the Seattle Seahawks and Green Bay Packers. Now, we had to go a little easy on these refs since they were scab officials who were part-time Division II and high school referees. We had to give them some credit in trying to do their best, but the replacement refs were blowing calls all across the league for the first 2 weeks of the season, and they absolutely botched the call on the last play of the game.
Now the game's final play is a Wilson loft to the end zone, which is fought for by Tate with Jennings simultaneous. Who has it?
Not only did they botch the call on the last play, they outright had questionable calls the whole game. I mean, let's just take a second and take a look at the pass interference call on Packers cornerback Sam Shields in the fourth quarter with about 6 minutes left in the game. Seahawks receiver Sidney Rice physically pulled down Sam Shields, and then Shields gets called for the defensive pass interference? Really? Even the commentators were second-guessing that call.
It's bad ball.
It's amazing to me that
defensive pass interference.
I understand the game is more catered to the offensive side of football, but right
It gets worse, though, for the Packers. With 8 seconds left, the Seahawks are down to the last play of the game. They need a touchdown to win. Coach John Gruden said it best when commentating this game. He said, "Flood a section of the end zone with as many Seahawks as you can and give someone a chance." And that's exactly what they did. Russell Wilson's lob to the corner of the end zone was caught by Golden Tate from Seattle and Jennings from Green Bay. The refs short-circuited at that point. You had one ref signaling touchdown. You had another one waving his arms around like it's an interception, or at least to stop the clock, even though time had expired. Who knows what they were thinking? Anyways, after much discussion and deliberation from the replacement refs, they made the ruling that it was a touchdown and gave the win to the Seahawks. The call was widely criticized, with many believing that the Packers were robbed of a victory due to the inexperience of the replacement refs. Not to mention, they missed a very clear and obvious offensive pass interference call by Golden Tate right before the ball arrived in the end zone. He clearly pushes Sam Shields out of the way to get leverage for the jump ball. But the good news is, the Fail Mary debacle got the real refs to make a quicker deal, and the rest of the 2012 season was back to the regular officiating shortly after this game. At number 9, we have to go all the way back to 1980. Yeah, that's right, Doc Brown. I wish we could go back to 1985. But instead, we are taking you back to 1980 and the AFC Championship game between the Houston Oilers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Houston Oilers quarterback Dan Pastorini was getting pressured all game by the Pittsburgh Steel Curtain defense. The Oilers were only down a touchdown, 17-10 in the third quarter, when they decided to attack the end zone with a fade pass to the back corner to Oilers receiver Mike Renfro. It was a beautiful pass by Pastorini, and Renfro was able to secure the ball and drag both feet in the end zone before falling to the turf and raising his fist. Touchdown, Houston Oilers. But a late call by the officials ruled it incomplete. Renfro was furious. Oilers' sideline was furious. And you can see a very young Wade Phillips coaching the Houston Oilers defensive line at the time, yelling from the press box that his feet was clearly in. Needless to say, instant replay would have clearly shown Renfro catching the ball in bounds to tie the game and set up Houston to potentially win. The NFL finally decided to accept instant replay into the league in 1986, then decided to move away from it after the 1991 season before bringing it back again for good in 1999. And number 8 is another one of those highly debated games where the fix was in. Super Bowl III between the New York Jets and Baltimore Colts in 1969. At the time, rumors circulated that the game was fixed, with a lot of people alleging the Colts threw the game to facilitate the merger between the NFL and AFL. There was never any proof that the Super Bowl was fixed, but with Joe Namath's guarantee of winning the Super Bowl, the Jets win legitimized the AFL and the merger with the NFL the following year. At number 7, we have a more recent game between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles in Super Bowl 57. I think we all know that the Chiefs eventually won the game, but there was a late game penalty that sparked widespread debate among fans, football analysts, and even NFL players. With the game tied 35-35 and just under 2 minutes left in the game, the Chiefs had the ball on the Eagles' 15-yard line. On a 3rd and 8 play, Patrick Mahomes threw a pass intended for Juju Smith-Schuster, which fell incomplete. But wait. Here comes the 12th player on the field, the referee, throwing a flag for defensive holding on Eagles cornerback James Bradberry. The penalty gave the Chiefs a fresh set of downs to run out the clock with 8 seconds left for Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker to kick the winning field goal. The call was immediately controversial because of the ball being thrown way over Smith-Schuster's head, as well as the ticky-tack nature of the call given the circumstances, especially in a Super Bowl where officials generally allow more physical play. Next up at number 6 is a wild one. It's the 2014 AFC Championship game in January of 2015 between the New England Patriots and the Indianapolis Colts, and this will go down as one of the most bizarre and controversial incidents in recent NFL memory. The Patriots won the game 45-7, but that wasn't the issue with this game. This game led to the infamous Deflategate scandal and one of the blemishes of Tom Brady's Hall of Fame career. The Patriots were accused of deliberately deflating footballs to gain an advantage.
I didn't alter the ball in any way.
Denying any part in the latest scandal that has the sports world abuzz.
To put that statement in context, the game was being played in Foxborough in January, and it was very cold that day. Before the game, the Colts notified the NFL that they suspected the Patriots were deflating their balls, but provided no specific information to validate their claim. Fast forward to the first half of the game, and Tom Brady throws a pick to Colts linebacker D'Qwell Jackson. Jackson was excited to get a pick from the Tom Brady, especially during an AFC Championship game, so he saves the Patriots ball and hands it to the Colts equipment manager for safekeeping. After Jackson's interception, the Colts team notified NFL Game Day operations, and at halftime, NFL officials inspected the footballs. No issues were raised on the pressure of the balls in the second half, and the Patriots went on to rout the Colts. This whole incident led to an investigation that resulted in Tom Brady receiving a 4-game suspension at the beginning of the following season and a $1 million fine by the Patriots. Doesn't matter, because the Patriots went on to win the Super Bowl anyways. We are at the top 5 of our list, and these controversial plays just get better and better. Starting off with number 5 and that phantom touchdown from 1998. Vinny Testaverde and the New York Jets beat the Seattle Seahawks 32-31 after the referees determined that Testaverde's head crossed the goal line and not the actual ball. I mean, they do look similar. A white helmet and a brown football do look a lot alike. Anyways, they ruled he crossed the goal line on that 4th down, 5-yard quarterback draw or sneak with only 20 seconds left in the game. The video footage back in the day is not HD, but you can clearly see the ball short of the goal line. The Jets won the game on that phantom touchdown and remained in first place, tied with the Dolphins in the AFC East Division. At number 4 on the list was an amazing outcome for Tennessee Titans fans, but just another heartbreak for Bills Mafia. That's right, at number 4 on our list is none other than the Music City Miracle. One of the most iconic and controversial plays in NFL history, the Music City Miracle occurred during the 2000 AFC Wildcard playoff game between the Titans and Bills. The controversy centers around whether the lateral pass during a kickoff was a legal lateral or an illegal forward pass. Titans tight end Frank Wycheck took the kickoff and proceeded to the right side of the field, paused, then threw the ball towards the other sideline to wide receiver Kevin Dyson. You remember Kevin Dyson, right? Yeah, the same one who came up 1 yard short in the Super Bowl against the Rams. Don't know what I'm talking about? Well, you'll have to watch our other video about Steve McNair and other NFL quarterbacks who never won a Super Bowl. The link to that video is right here and in the description box below. Anyways, Dyson caught the ball and ran 75 yards for a touchdown, giving the Titans a 22-16 lead with just 3 seconds remaining in the playoff game. The officials reviewed the play extensively, and after examining multiple angles, head referee Phil Luckett determined that the pass was not clearly forward and the ruling on the field of a legal lateral stood. The Titans would go on to win the game and head to Super Bowl 34 against the Rams, like I mentioned. Heading into the top 3 of our list, and at number 3 is an absolute heartbreaker for all of you New Orleans Saints fans. Yes, I know it hurts to talk about this game, but I have to for the sake of calling out one of the most egregious errors from an NFL officiating staff in the history of the league. We have to go back to January 2019 in the 2018 NFC Championship game between the Los Angeles Rams and the home team New Orleans Saints. With under 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter, Saints quarterback Drew Brees threw a pass to receiver Tommy Lee Lewis, who was very clearly hit by Rams corner Nickel Roby-Coleman well before the ball arrived. The hit was clearly pass interference. Even some of the Rams players knew it was pass interference, and it could have been called for helmet-to-helmet contact. But no flag was thrown. Instead, due to the incomplete pass, the Saints kicked a field goal with more than enough time for the Rams to have one last drive. The Saints players couldn't get past the botched call and eventually lost the game to the Rams in overtime, who eventually lost to the Patriots in the Super Bowl. After the game, there was justified outrage from Saints players, fans, and media, with some calling for the game to be replayed. The NFL later admitted that the officials missed the call, and this incident led to the temporary introduction of allowing coaches to challenge pass interference calls for the 2019 season. And number 2 on the list is another play that hurt a huge fan base waiting for playoff success. And that's the Dallas Cowboys. The number 2 controversial call is Dez Bryant's no-catch call against the Green Bay Packers in the NFC Divisional Playoff game in 2015. With a Lambeau crowd of almost 80,000 Packers fans, Dallas was on the road and trailing 26-21 late in the fourth quarter, facing a 4th and 2 from the Packers' 32-yard line with 4 minutes and 42 seconds left in the game. Cowboys quarterback Tony Romo dropped back and launched a deep pass to Dez Bryant. Dez leaped into the air, grabbed the ball with both hands, took 2 steps and stretched the ball toward the goal line as he fell to the ground. The ball hit the ground as Bryant extended it toward the end zone. The ball popped out briefly, but Bryant quickly regained control. The officials initially ruled it a catch, which would have placed the ball at the 1-yard line and would have given Dallas an outstanding chance to score a touchdown and take the lead. However, Mike McCarthy decided to challenge the ruling of a catch, arguing that Bryant did not complete the catch process according to the NFL rules at the time. And you know what? That challenge paid off, because the officials reversed the call on the field. Referee Gene Steratore determined that Bryant had not maintained control of the ball throughout the entire process of the catch. Dez was stunned. Romo was stunned. Cowboys fans were outraged, and Stephen A. Smith, arguably the most outspoken Cowboys hater, was laughing for weeks. Still, this controversy over the Dez Bryant play, along with the Megatron Calvin Johnson play in 2010, resulted in the NFL revisiting the catch rule. Finally, at the number 1 spot of the top 10 plays where we thought the fix was in is none other than Tom Brady's no-tuck call in the 2001 AFC Divisional Playoff game against the Oakland Raiders. As you can see, Tom Brady and the Patriots have made up our top 10 list a couple of times. Needless to say, the NFL and the refs have always been on the Patriots side over the past couple decades. All jokes aside, this was a tough one to figure out and was the most controversial call made by the officiating crew in the history of the NFL. Again, it was cold and snowy in Foxborough in the postseason, and the Patriots had the home field advantage. Tom Brady dropped back to pass with a 13-10 lead and was hit by Raiders Hall of Fame cornerback Charles Woodson, causing Brady to fumble the ball and the Raiders recovering the ball. However, after reviewing the play, the referees ruled that Brady's arm was moving forward in a passing motion, invoking the quote-unquote tuck rule and calling it an incomplete pass instead of a fumble. The Patriots retained possession, continued their drive, tied the game with a field goal, and eventually won in overtime. Now, this tuck rule ruling was highly controversial, and many felt the rule was too complex and subjective to keep in the league. The NFL agreed and eliminated the rule in 2013 by a vote of 29-1 in favor of removing the rule. I'll give you one guess as to which owner was the one vote, but the damage was done, and the Patriots began their 20-year dynasty and widespread opinion of favorable treatment by the league. There are players in the league like Charles Woodson who have never been able to get over that moment. One thing is for sure, these top 10 controversial plays did keep NFL fans passionate about how they feel about their team and the league. There's no doubt that there will be more controversial plays in the future, and the NFL and their officiating crews will continue to give the fans the best product possible. But these top 10 plays will give us memories, both good and bad, for years to come. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time on Red Zone Mania.